Welcome to those of you joining us for the first time. This is a true crime podcast. There will be talk of murder, rape, torture, assault, and pretty much any crime that would haunt you nightmares at any given moment. There will be detailed descriptions of said events, and there will be some vulgar language.
Like fuck.
We understand that Criminal AF is not for everyone, but we just ask that you at least give it a listen. And if it's not for you, hey, thanks for checking it out.
See ya.
But if it is,
Welcome to the debauchery.
this is the story how John Holmes, his Phallus, and his accomplices reportedly bludgeoned 4 people to death and seriously injured another in retaliation for a robbery gone wrong. I'm Dave Jari,
I'm Garrett Quarter.
and this is Criminal as Fuck. What's good, everybody, and welcome back to another episode of Criminal AF. Once again, I am Dave Jari, and with me, as always, is my co-host, Garrett Quarter.
How we doing?
Now, there will be no boozing for this episode.
No.
saying. But we're recording this before we go into work rather than on our days off. Yeah, due to our crazy work schedules, we weren't here to record this week, but here we are.
We're fitting the time though.
That's it,
for you guys.
That's it. Ready to give you another epic episode. But first, we have some announcements to make, and we'd like to welcome Holly Morin, Sandy Blaisley.
Hi, Holly.
Hello, Holly. Hello, Sandy.
Hi, Sandy.
Ed Discola.
Oh God.
Yeah, fucking Disco.
Who let this guy on the?
Who
let this guy on the Discord?
Ed's a friend of ours from work. Wendy and Paul, and also Brittany. I'm going to butcher this. Brittany Previsic. Got it. I think I
How we
nailed
doing?
it. And welcome everybody to our debauched family. I was thinking about this the other day. Debauched criminals. You know, we have some names for our listeners, but
Yeah, it's gonna change. It's probably gonna change. Knowing us, so we're gonna change it 17 times.
I'm going to tell you right now, we are missing out on another name that's been staring at us in the face this whole time.
Give it to me.
Fuckers. Oh, what's up, fuckers?
I like it.
What's up, fuckers? You know?
Join the fuckers.
No, I mean, obviously, our people are the debauched.
Yeah.
But if you're referring in general,
I mean, listen, you're not gonna give me. I'm gonna always take a chance to call people fucker. So,
Right. Yeah.
so we'll just keep adding. We'll just keep adding. How about that?
Yeah.
Instead of giving them a name, we'll
listen
just
here, fuckers.
Yeah. We're just gonna change it around. We're gonna do it.
Right.
It'll be fun.
Yeah. You know, like our core group will always be the debauched, but
Yeah.
when we're addressing the
masses.
the masses, you know, it's fuckers. What's up, fuckers? I like it. All right.
I like it too.
Tell us what you think. All right. Now, you can become one of the debauched or one of the fuckers by joining our Patreon for as little as $2 a month for general support. Everyone gets access to our private Discord, and those who join the $5 tier or above get all of our Audible, video, and downloadable content, including the narrated scripts from every story from Criminal AF.
Also, Patreon members definitely join the Discord too, because it's fun over there. We're starting to grow a little bit on Discord, and it's
it's heating up.
Yeah, it's heating up. You know, you can literally talk right to us. We do episode recommendations, fuck, marry, kills, would you rather's, all that stuff. Questions before the podcast.
I love the would you rather's.
Yeah, so just come on, join the Discord. The description's inside the Patreon when you get on it, and come talk to us. Come hang out.
Yeah. Now, everybody gets access to the Discord. Now, for $5 and above, you also get 5 Minute Murder, where I discuss a short true crime event in about 5 minutes, hence the name, and our Patreon-only bi-weekly podcast called Random AF, where we discuss anything and everything, and we don't hold anything back.
First one got a lot of hand, but
Yeah, so, you know, we'll talk about anything from White People Taco Night, which some of you have seen on IG, to would you rather perform the first 90% of a blowjob or the last 10%?
And you're gonna love Dave's answer.
It gets pretty crazy, but you know, hey. But just a reminder that one is 100% not safe for work, so that's something you will definitely listen to in your car.
Yeah.
But also, on top of all of that seems like quite a bit, but on top of all that, you'll also get our monthly Patreon-only episodes of Dreadful AF, where Garrett and I join the amazing John and Joe from Spread the Dread podcast and discuss all things true crime, paranormal, supernatural, conspiracy theories, and everything in between.
Fun stuff.
Yeah, you fucking name it, we'll talk about it. So that one's gonna be a lot of fun. I can't wait for that one. For the higher tiers, you get all of this plus producer credits on every episode, some goodies thrown in like t-shirts, posters, coffee mugs, etc. Also, if you want to become a barista and buy us one or more coffees through Buy Me a Coffee to help support the podcast with a one-time donation, like our friends Holly, Trent, Christine, Beth, and Pickle Jenny 420. Hey, Jenny!
Jenny! Thanks for the coffee, Jenny. That was a good one. That was really good. That was a bong for sure.
I've been working on it.
All right.
So just go to criminalafpodcast.com/support to choose your tier on Patreon or make your one-time donation through Buy Me a Coffee. Links can also be found in the episode description.
Mail call. Mail call.
Mail call. Sue. Sue.
All right, so every time we record, we send out a Ask Us Anything on Instagram for your chance for your question to be answered on one of our episodes. And this week we have two. We have Debbie from True Crime University, who we just gave a shout out a couple weeks ago. Her question is, what is one case that you will not cover?
Ooh, good question.
For me, I believe I said this before, but it's like anything to do with like children. Now I understand, we have covered cases that children have passed away, they've been killed and whatnot, but I'm talking where the entire story is based on a particular person singling out massive numbers of children and killing them. You know what I mean? Pedophile, fucking murderer people. Like,
yeah, don't even give them the light of day.
Yeah, I can't even stomach people like that, let alone write about it and talk about it. You know what I mean?
Yeah, because then you're plus, you know what I mean, by writing the story and talking about it, you just, I don't know.
Yeah. Like, I tried doing it one time. I forget which one it was, but
he's been recommended by some of the Patreons and stuff.
Oh, Albert Fish?
Yeah. Fish. There are a lot of people like that fucking guy. I don't know why, man. It's not a good story. And plus, like, me and Dave want to have fun with the story. We don't want to sit here and just be like, oh, this is sad.
Yeah, this fucking 8-year-old was raped, murdered, and eaten. You know?
Yeah. The last thing we want to do is tell dick jokes against a child molester, dude.
No, actually, no. I forget who it was. There was one back in my Serialholic days. There was one. I was starting to write it, and I was just like, I physically became ill. You know what I mean? Because it's just like, like how can anybody enjoy doing that to children? You know what I mean? It's like, I don't know. I just can't fathom it, and it really deeply messes with my head. So,
for me, I think it's gonna be. I mean, I know originally on the podcast I said I wanted to stay away. I don't think there's really anybody we wouldn't do, as long as it's associated with true crime and serial killing and that kind of stuff. I don't think I have a cutoff. No. I mean, I know before we said on the podcast that we're not going to do the big guys, but I think as we've been doing this, you know what I mean, we could knock out a Bundy and you know what I mean, and John Gacy. So
yeah, I think both of our mindsets at the time. We did Manson.
Yeah.
And I think with Manson, it kind of showed it because we got a lot of good feedback on the Manson ones.
Yeah, 3-parter, you know what I mean? Do something big.
And I think after that, it's like, okay, maybe we can. Maybe we can touch on things that, haven't been beaten to death, you know? Because I think we brought out a few kind of different aspects to the story that's not overly discussed, you know, like the theory, the alternate theories and
stuff like that,
and whatnot.
Not the mainstream.
Right.
Yeah. So I think, and I will agree. After the Manson one, we could do anyone. It doesn't really.
No.
Yeah. You just know. So you never know what story you're gonna get. And I'm gonna answer the question and say that I'm down for anything.
Down for anything.
Yeah. Anything and everything.
All right. Okay. Good. All right. I see you. All right. So thank you very much, Debbie. And we also have our good friend, S. Fleming 5, and she wants to know, will you guys ever do in-person shows? And then in parentheses, in Cali. So,
I would love to go to Cali.
I would love to, yeah. Anybody go to Cali, Florida? Let's go to
in-person shows. Live podcasts are tough. I've gone to live podcasts. I've seen how it's done, and it can get kind of weird.
Yeah,
Because you're talking to the audience that's in the. You're not like, I don't know. I've seen it. It's definitely, you have to have some sort of like extracurricular activities going
right.
on. You know what I mean?
You definitely have to incorporate.
We need a t-shirt gun. We need like fucking. we put ponchos out and smash fruit in front of people. Like there has to be like. I don't know. It's definitely something we would try. I think we've discussed it. Like,
right. I would love
at a bar or something like that.
I would love to do a live show. I would love it. Yeah, because you can incorporate so many things. You know, it's not just like, I think our version of a live show wouldn't be just like listening to us like you are now. I think
no.
It's going to be a lot more interactive, a lot more. You know what I mean?
Dude, I'm telling you, I'm smashing a watermelon.
Watermelon in the front row. Who was it? Gallagher.
Come out in that crazy outfit.
I know. But I will say this.
Well, it'd be fun. There'd be fun bits.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
We would definitely put our time into a live show.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, I actually want to do, I threw it out there earlier, last month and a month before. I threw it out there that I really want to do like kind of like a sample live show this year. Just for like the local, Connecticut, Rhode Island,
our local fans.
New York, and just kind of see how it would go over, or how would we, go about it. But I am 1,000% down with doing like a live show. You know what I mean?
Yeah, it's on the list for sure.
But there is one thing, and I will say this, is that if we ever do a live show, that everyone in the crowd needs to have at least 5 or 6 drinks in them.
5 drink minimum.
Before we start. Because I've been to shows, like, I saw somebody live one time. Like, he was a comedian. And I went there, and me and my friends, and I was fucking loaded, right? And I'm like, I'm like fucking dying laughing. And I'm like, this guy's hysterical. And then like I saw him on like a Netflix special at home. Yeah. And I'm like, this guy sucks. Yeah. So
it's the atmosphere.
It's the atmosphere.
I've always said that.
It's the alcohol.
Yeah, it's the alcohol, the atmosphere. If other people are laughing, you're in a good mood. You start laughing over dumb stuff.
Yeah. And if you don't drink, hey, there's edibles. So.
Yes, sir.
But yes, we will hopefully in the next year, 2 years, make our way out to California and do something. But yeah, I believe S. Fleming 5 has described to me where she is in California. So we will definitely make a trip out there at some point. Promise. Unless something happens. I can't.
Knock on wood.
Knock on this bone skull thing. But yeah. So thank you very much, S. Fleming 5, for your question. So yeah, every time we do an episode, we'll post Ask Us Anything on IG and keep those questions rolling in. Criminal AF will be back after this quick break.
Dave, it's that time, baby. Let's go to Florida. All right, Dave. This story actually fits in with the theme of today's story. Threesome turns violent after women mocks couple's genitals. Marathon, Florida. Beautiful area, by the way.
Yeah.
A couple ended up in handcuffs, not the fuzzy kind, after inviting a disrespectful woman over for a threesome, according to police. According to Monroe County Sheriff's Office, officers received a complaint on March 6th from a woman named Della Draper. That sounds like a porn star. Della Draper, 29. That sounds fake. That's a fake name. Who claimed to have been beaten by a couple after she accepted an invitation to join them at their house for a sexual threesome. Citing arrest records, the Smoking Gun reported that Stephen Lopez, 31, met Draper while working as a taxi driver. Lopez said he was in an open relationship with Angela Vasquez, 20, and invited Draper over for sex with them. During sex, Vasquez claimed that Draper became very disrespectful toward the couple.
Hold on, wait. So he meets her in a taxi.
He was the taxi driver.
He was a taxi driver.
Yeah.
She gets in, and they start talking. Oh, where you heading? Oh, yeah, take me over to the fucking whatever, the bank or whatever.
Yeah.
And he's like, yeah, so anyway, I'm in an open relationship. Want to fuck?
I wish I had the confidence.
I know.
That this taxi driver has. How do you just, what?
Some people.
But then again, something, any chick that's going home with a taxi driver, no offense if you guys try taxis out there, but there was something weird about this situation. You know what I mean? These aren't the classiest of people, let's be honest. If you leave with your taxi driver, I mean, I don't know. Like,
somebody's listening to the show in their taxi.
or they're in the back and they're looking at their taxi driver. They're a little different right now.
and the driver turns around and winks at him.
You just hear Luther playing in the background. All right. During sex, Vasquez claimed that Draper became very disrespectful toward the couple and told police she told Stephen he had a little dick and his wife had a stank pussy.
Oh!
This is from the article too.
Where's that from?
This is 17 News, Florida. Eyewitness News.
They say that again. She had a little dick and she had a stank pussy.
She told police that she told Stephen he had a little dick and his wife had a stank pussy.
Oh yeah, that shit stank.
Draper complained to police that Velasquez tried to dominate her sexually inside the house. The couple then asked Draper to leave the house, but she retreated to the couch and refused to move. Both Lopez and Velasquez. What a horror story. You think you scored a chick for you and your wife to go bang together, and then she's just like, you little dick.
Yeah.
You little dick. And then you try to kick her out. She just lays on the couch and says, that's why your wife's pussy stinks.
I'm the captain now.
Oh, damn. This goes back to my original theory that there's a little bit of mental illness going on in this story.
Right. Well, I mean, imagine like she looks at it and she's like, yeah, you got a little dick. And she goes and like takes over the house. Yeah. Like, what are you gonna do, fucking needle dick? How
demoralizing. Yeah. You're gonna beat her up? You can't beat her up. Right. You're just sitting there taking it. Hey, you're sitting there with your little tiny.
Yeah. Go get me a drink, bitch.
Your little toothpick, just yelling at her. Because you know you're not hard after that. You're just yelling, get out of my house! Yeah. Little dick.
You're mean.
That's so funny, dude. Oh, man. All right, we gotta finish the article. Draper said Lopez grabbed her.
My mom says I'm perfect the way I am. Stop picking on me.
Oh, it gets bigger. Sure it does. Damn, stop. Yeah. Just heckling his dick.
Prove it.
Draper said Lopez then grabbed her by the hair and threw her against a wall. Ooh. And the couple both threw her out. Threw her outside. Draper claimed Vasquez then repeatedly punched her. However, in Lopez and Vasquez's version of events, Draper got into the car and then reversed towards the door of the home and the couple was standing, striking Vasquez on the leg. Lopez then picked up a cinder block and threw it through the back window of the vehicle. Damn, this is getting a little heated.
Shit, she ain't fucking around.
Draper then returned to the house and tried to punch Vasquez but missed, and Vasquez said she returned the blow, knocking Draper to the ground and telling her to leave the property. She then reportedly left the residence in her car.
Now we know who fucking carries a dick in that thing.
Yeah. Maybe it wasn't so small. Or it might have been small, but small and big in heart. You know what I mean? She then repeated.
Wait. Vasquez is the girlfriend. The girlfriend's the one that's beating her ass.
Oh shit! You're right. The girlfriend's stick. Yeah, so it's definitely the other way.
Yeah, he's definitely got a micro. Yeah, he's got a micro penis.
She then reportedly left the residence.
Unlike who we're going to discuss today.
Yes, complete opposite. That's why I said it's a good comparison to the story. She then reportedly left the residence in her car, but parked on the street, and Lopez went running after her. But she left before he reached her vehicle. Lopez was charged with felony of throwing a deadly missile. What the fuck? I didn't even know that.
Wait, what?
Lopez was charged with felony of throwing a deadly missile. So I guess that would be like the correct term to say when you throw something that could kill somebody, right?
Okay.
For the cinder block.
Yeah.
Vasquez was charged with battery, which is crazy. Draper was not arrested for the incident, but 2 days later she was arrested for hitting a man in the face with a glass vase filled with gravel and rocks, according to Smoking. Yo, this chick got off scot-free. She probably terrorized this couple.
Oh, yeah.
And then somehow they get arrested at the end?
Right.
Like, honestly, she seems like she's a little...
Yep.
Police said she was out of bond for another crime a year earlier in which she resisted arrest for being pulled over. She also, the person she threw the glass vase filled with gravel and rocks was the father of her children. So this woman has children, by the way. Yeah.
Sure,
good old Florida.
Wonder why that relationship didn't work out.
Yeah, I don't know, because she's going to Menage a Trois. With taxi drivers.
Come over here and lay that needle dick down on me.
That's demoralizing, getting yelled at in your own house about your needle dick.
Fuck you and your stank ass pussy. Fuck you.
I'm curious because I honestly believe that couple was probably terrorized and then ended up and they're probably getting handcuffed. Like, what the fuck?
Oh yeah.
She seems like she's a problem.
Yeah.
And there's a slew of other arrest records too. So we'll add that in the. We'll find her mugshot and we'll put on the Instagram for you guys to look. Yeah. Because she's an interesting one.
So like we said, this is a good tie-in to today's episode, which is more commonly known as the Wonderland murders. The Wonderland gang. They were like drug dealers and robbers and whatnot. They essentially attacked like a kingpin, a nightclub kingpin.
A promoter, a wise guy.
Yeah. Hey, yo.
Like,
bada bing. I don't know.
Bada bing.
Like Peter Griffin, Family Guy.
That's exactly.
Boopity boppity, boppity boopity, boopity boppity.
Bippity boppity. I'm talking Italian. Biggity boppity, bippity bop.
Anytime you grow a mustache, boppity boopity. So they basically go to this promoter's house, rob him. Come to find out that the person who allegedly set up that robbery was none other than John Holmes.
Biggest dick in the room, John Holmes.
Big Dick John, Johnny Wad. Now, in retaliation, that promoter, that kingpin, also wanted Holmes to set the Wonderland gang up, and hence why we're here talking about this story. So, buckle in, folks. Lots of big dicks. Lots of
porn stars, cocaine, 80s. Yep. Good time.
Yeah, AIDS.
Good time.
It's all filled in there. And we'll start this off with chapter 1. This is the tale of Johnny Watt, a.k.a. Big John Phallus, a.k.a. the human tripod. His parents named him John Curtis Estes, but the name you may recognize is John Holmes, even if you don't admit to knowing it. John was an adult film actor who starred in over 2,500 films, but it wasn't his acting ability that made him famous. He was best known for having one enormous penis, with some stating it was as large as 16 inches. Toward the end of his career, however, John was known more for his dealings in the Los Angeles underbelly and his involvement in what would become known as the Wonderland murders in July of 1981. These murders would involve a group of low-level crooks named the Wonderland Gang, as they operated out of a row house on Wonderland Avenue in the Laurel Canyon neighborhood of Los Angeles. John was heavily involved in drugs at this time, both using and selling. It's interesting to note because John was never into drugs before his career exploded. But John and this gang were heroin-addicted cocaine dealers. John was a reluctant accomplice. He knew he got mixed up with the wrong crowd, but he wanted to use his status to get drugs, and because of this, he was used, and he got swept up in the whole situation. John Holmes was a staple in nightclubs, as did anyone in the porn, heroin, cocaine scene of the 1980s. There are still nightclubs today, and people still go to them, but they weren't like they were back in the 70s and 80s. The nightclub was the place to be. John was popular with some of the owners of these nightclubs. He was Johnny Watt, after all. A friend of John's introduced him to the owner of the Odyssey, Chris Cox. And then in turn, Chris introduced him to Eddie Nash, another important player in this story. Eddie owned several nightclubs, including the Starwood in West Hollywood. Eddie Nash also had a large stash of drugs, money, and jewelry in his house. Holmes knew it, and he decided to use this information to stay on the good side of the Wonderland gang. John, after all, needed to look after himself and feed off the endless supply of the drugs the Wonderland crew was giving him. And that's where things got messy. John was born in August of 1944 in rural Ohio to Mary June Holmes and railroad worker Carl Estes. Carl was not named on John's birth certificate. Mary had married Edgar Harvey Holmes, with whom she had 3 other kids, Dale, Edward, and Anne. So Edgar filled the position of father to John. Mary and Edgar were married and divorced 3 separate times. His mother was a religious fanatic. She was a Southern Baptist, and she and her children attended church regularly. Edgar, however, was an alcoholic who would stumble around the house and even vomit on the children. Quite the contrast to Mary. To get away from this turbulent home life, John would frequently go spend time at his maternal grandparents' home, John and Bessie Barton. Eventually, Mary divorced Edgar for good and moved into a low-income housing project in Columbus, Ohio. Mary and her children lived with a friend and their 2 children. The 2 mothers worked as clerks and waitresses to help support their children. When John was 7, Mary married Harold Bowman in December of 1951. The family then moved 17 miles away from Columbus to Pataskala, Ohio. Bowman was a good father until he had a child of his own with Mary. Bowman lost interest in his stepchildren and started to neglect them and put all of his efforts into his biological children. At the age of 15, John left home and enlisted in the United States Army with his mother's written permission. He spent most of his enlisted time in West Germany. He was honorably discharged in 1963. Holmes then moved to Los Angeles and worked jobs as a door-to-door salesman and an ambulance driver. That's where he met his wife, Sharon Gabbanini, in December of 1964. Sharon worked as a nurse, and they married in August of 1965 after Holmes turned 21. In April of 1965, John was working as a forklift driver at a meatpacking warehouse, and because of the exposure to the freezing air in the large walk-in closet, John began having severe health problems. His right lung had collapsed 3 times in the 2 years he worked there. Sharon also had health problems. In 17 months of marriage to John, she miscarried 3 separate times. This is where John Holmes became introduced to the world of pornography. He frequented a men's card-playing club in Gardena. He met a photographer there who had stood next to him in the men's room urinal. He slipped John his card and told him he could find him work in the underground adult film industry. So John started posing nude for adult magazines and filmed an occasional stag film. John's career began to take off from there. He was part of an adult film series built around a private investigator named Johnny Wad. These films were written and directed by Bob Chin. Johnny Wad was a hit, and people were demanding follow-ups. A second film was made in the same year, named Flesh of the Lotus. John was arrested during this time for pimping and pandering because porn was still illegal. Even though successful films such as Deep Throat, Behind the Green Door, and The Devil and Miss Jones were being made, the legality of it all was still being contested. John avoided prison time by becoming an informant for the Los Angeles Police Department. In the late 1970s, John was earning as much as $3,000 per day as a porn actor. He started having an increasing problem with cocaine and freebasing around this time. This caused problems with John holding an erection and was flaccid and the movie Insatiable. John's career began to flounder, but he still needed to make money to support his drug addiction. So he started selling drugs for gangs, prostituting himself to both men and women, and committing credit card fraud and various acts of petty theft. He met and groomed 15-year-old Dawn Schiller. He was abusive towards her and forced her into prostitution to support his addiction. He was so abusive towards her, he even beat her in public. John also turned to performing gay porn in order to make money. His popularity was waning, and this was a way to keep earning money. He starred in a homosexual movie called The Private Pleasures of John C. Holmes, and other various stag films with him performing anal sex with men. I will say, like, to kick this whole thing off, is that drugs can really fucking ruin your life.
You can easily go down the wrong path.
Right? Because, you know, like, he had his entire career, you know, in the porn industry. Like, he was the guy. You know what I mean? Like, the man. And then he gets hooked on, like, heroin and coke and fucking...
Well, I mean, it's a snowball for sure.
Yeah.
Coke's all fun. You go out, you with your buddies, you're doing some coke in the bathroom, and you know what I mean.
Fucking rock hard.
The rich,
Rock hard.
Yeah, the rich people drug, and then once you try that sweet heroin, you're gone.
Yep.
You're fucking done.
Teeth are gone.
Look at even you look at Motley Crue, right? Or like anybody in those during that time period, like. They were good. They were smooth sailing until fucking heroin came along, and then the whole fucking the whole show just fell apart.
Yeah. Although I will say that Nirvana Unplugged, the probably hands down the greatest acoustic set in history.
Yeah, he was definitely on.
Fucking loaded.
Yeah, of course.
Loaded.
Yeah, but you're talking about another.
And so is Lane Staley.
Yeah.
Have you seen Alice in Chains Unplugged?
No, I haven't.
Oh, you have to watch that. A, it's fucking fantastic. B, Lane Staley, he can't even keep his eyes open.
He's falling asleep while he's singing.
He's just like, but yeah, boy, he's on point.
Yeah,
it's fucking muscle memory.
Yeah, at that point, you've probably done the song so many times. You don't even, you could do it. You could do it in the fucking heroin days.
Dude, he is fucking wasted.
I think it's relatable too. I think everybody that's listening, everybody knows somebody who struggled with drug addiction. 100%. So it's almost this weird familiar thing. Right. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Kind of like a collective have an experience or know somebody they went to high school with who died or OD'd from like.
Right.
It's Actually, I'll double down right now. Ready? The 80s sound fun, dude. I mean, I don't think I would have survived the 80s, especially if I was successful. Yeah. I don't think I would have. I would have been in the club getting it on the dance floor. Full button-down shirt, gold chain, fucking. Yeah.
Well, look how many people. Look how many people from that fucking era are going. I mean, Corey Feldman. He's still struggling. You know, he's still hanging around, but all of his friends are dead. Yeah.
Imagine get survivor's remorse.
I know.
Just from the 80s. The 80s gave you survivor remorse.
I know. Now he's putting out bangers on fucking Instagram. You see that? You see the?
No, I didn't.
You didn't see the banger I posted?
No.
The fucking Corey Feldman. No. Oh, you gotta watch it. It's fucking.
All right, I'll get on it.
Oh yeah, shit's hot. It's gonna be a new theme song.
Oh wait, yes, I did see that. I didn't know that was. I didn't know that was Corey Feldman.
Is it Corey? Corey Haim. Corey Haim's the one that died, right? There was the two Coreys from the 80s.
I don't know.
They were like popular. They were like in every fucking movie.
The hair, that's all I remember. The hair. The hair was magnificent.
He's still trying to dress like fucking Michael Jackson after he'd been molested by him for years.
It's kind of sad.
Yeah. Like that's his thing. The dude's like fucking.
Dude, I mean, Michael. We could go on an hour podcast about Michael. To be honest with you.
The dude fucking.
They all loved him. That was their. They loved him.
Yeah.
Davey. Davey.
Let me look at your butthole.
Bend over.
Fucking sick fuck.
All right. Yeah, no, the 80s was wild. It was a wild time.
Yeah. Well, yeah, 100%. If we were famous in the 80s, young, teenagers, early 20s, bro, we'd be fucking wasted all the time. Fucking.
I'd be in the club.
Fucking all the time.
Get it. Yeah, but you have to be. It's almost like it's sad when you're not successful.
Then you're just on a street.
Yeah, then you're just on a fucking bender. It's only glamorous when you're like successful. Right, you're a porn star. You're in the club scene. You're at the Scorpion Lounge.
Yeah, you're fucking
on Sunset. You know what I mean? Like you gotta be.
You're fucking River Phoenix.
I don't want to be in a small town bar in the 80s getting fucked up like a weird like a.
Yeah, I want to be River Phoenix walking out of the Viper Room. And fucking die of an overdose on the sidewalk.
Yeah.
Like that would be like that's glamorous.
You know, the Hollywood elite right there.
Yeah. But yeah, if you do that in fucking Plainfield, fucking Connecticut,
you're just sad.
You're just fucking sad.
It's like heroin too, though. If you go, it goes hand in hand. You know, if a businessman dies of heroin, it's like, oh, that sucks.
Yeah, that's.
But then, like, if a guy playing a guitar or an artist does, it's fucking wow. He's so good. He's so talented.
Yeah, it's like, oh wow. That's amazing. Look what heroin can do for you, kids.
It's all perspective, boys.
That's it.
Boys
That's
and
it. Okay, so now I know why he ended up turning to drugs later in life. Because his mother and father were divorced and married 3 times to each other.
Yeah, it definitely seems like a hostile home environment there.
Yeah, and she's like there you go, religious fanatic.
You think when he was like doing his altar boy privileges, he stood up in front of the whole communion and
let his dick hang?
Was his dick the dick print showing in his white little dress? The fucking priest was sweating. He's like, Jesus Christ, get this guy off the stage.
No, he's sweating like, I can't wait for this sermon to be over.
All right.
Oh man. But yeah, his mother fucking was all wrapped up in the fucking. She was a Southern Baptist, and
Are they the ones that speak in tongues?
Southern Baptist. I know.
I think it is.
No, maybe they do.
Because those fuckers are crazy. I mean, I would be doing.
Well, let me tell you a story. When I was in 8th grade, I dated this girl, and her parents were what they consider like they're called born again Christians.
Yeah, the ones that talk in tongues. That's it.
Yeah, and they flat out told me, I'm 14 years old. If you want to date our daughter, you have to come to church with us. And now my uncle.
Oh, Dave, the things you do for pussy, bro.
Well,
Jesus Christ.
So my uncle,
especially at that age.
My uncle, he don't laugh. My uncle was a Catholic priest for like 30 some odd years.
Yep.
Okay, I see the look on your face. Shut the fuck up.
No.
All right. He actually left the Catholic because of all that shit. He didn't want to be associated with it anymore. But anyway, so here I am thinking church. I'm like, yeah, I've been to church before. Whatever. Yeah,
so do I.
Yeah. You know, if this is going to get my dick wet, whatever. So.
Praise Jesus, man.
Praise God. So I go to this church. And it's fucking weird because it's not like what I'm accustomed to. You know?
They're slapping people with the Holy Spirit.
Right.
Ooh.
You know, they got the whole band up there and they're doing that. You ever see those? Fucking with that Naruto, whatever.
Naruto?
Yeah.
Oh,
What
don't
is that?
butcher my boy like that. That was Dragon Ball Z.
Oh, Dragon Ball Z.
Yeah, close.
So you ever see those videos where they're like dancing on stage and people just like falling over?
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah.
Yeah, and that's what
And
it is.
like the wave goes through the whole crowd.
Yeah.
Like the whole pew just starts falling over.
I'm fucking sitting there and I'm like watching this and I'm just like shell shocked. Like this is like.
Is there a moment where you think it's real? Like you really think that like they're throwing out Holy Spirit bombs and shit?
No, not at all. So I'm sitting there and I'm just like, what the fuck? I'm in such a culture shock because I've never witnessed this before, right? And the girl I was like dating, she was just like, you know, fucking clapping along and shit. I'm like, what the fuck is going on here?
Get the fuck out of here.
So I'm sitting in this like aisle and it's her father, her mother, her, and then me. Okay, and on my right is some other people.
Yeah.
You know? I'm like, whatever. Why they would put me on the end, I have no fucking idea. Because next thing I know, out of fucking nowhere, scared the shit out of me. This fucking lady jumps up. Right?
Oh my god.
I'm like, what the fuck's going on?
Oh my god.
I'm like, holy shit. And I look over at my girlfriend and she's just like,
no, like it's completely
like nothing. And I'm like, fuck this.
I'm actually kind of jealous. I'm actually very jealous that you've done that because I always want to try everything. I want to go to a Baptist church that speaks in tongues like that one, the born agains. I want to go to Salem Mass and go sit at a satanic church. I want to go there just to see. I would love to be in the Mormon fucking through the veil ceremony where they wear the bonnets. Yeah. I just want to go hang out. I just want to listen. Like, oh, this is it.
Yeah.
What's behind the veil, dude? I want to see. How much money do I have to donate to get behind the veil? Let me know. I just find that stuff so interesting.
Yeah.
I'm jealous.
So usually whenever you read a story and you see the two words religious and fanatic put together, you know something's going to be horribly wrong. Now the fucking thing that cracks me up about this is that you have the mother who's a fucking religious fanatic, quote unquote, like we said, and then you have a stepfather
who's an alcoholic,
who is a fucking belligerent alcoholic who's throwing up on the fucking children.
But isn't that how that works? But you know what I mean? Like, is it? So you gotta have a little faith to get through your day when your husband is throwing up on the kids. Like, you just kind of gotta give yourself up. You know what I mean? Just hope. Let's pray. Let's get this salvation thing because this life sucks. You know what I mean? It's kind of like
going over there like, here, put your coat on. Fucking puke down their fucking back.
Oh my god,
that's fucking horrendous.
Oh.
And, you know, and here's another aspect of it. Now, the mother remarries. Apparently, this guy is like a legit fucking good dude. You know, accepts her children as his own, which I mean, you should. You're whenever you get with someone who has kids, you're accepting the whole package. You're not,
sure.
You know what I mean? But you see this happen a lot. Like once they have their own child together,
the other kids are the redheaded stepchild.
right? Yeah, they kind of get pushed to the wayside. So basically, any and all effort that her husband at the time, Harold, put into these kids is non-existent anymore. So you're raised with a mother who marries your father fucking 3 times. She's a religious fanatic. She marries a fucking belligerent alcoholic who throws up in your face fucking every morning. You live with your grandparents who pretty much probably don't really care.
Balancing all over the place.
Right.
Too.
Marries another man. So as we're reading this, she's married 5 times. Kids are all over the place. And by the time they're old enough, nobody cares anything about any of them. You know what I mean?
I can understand why he enlisted in the army at 15. He was just like, I got to get the fuck out of this place.
Right. And his mom's like, sure, here you go. Have fun in West Germany.
Which is was probably great for him.
Oh. All right. So I'm just going to put this out there. So you're 15.
15, yep.
And
you're in the fetish capital of the world.
You're in the fetish in West Germany. And you have a fucking allegedly self-proclaimed 16-inch penis.
Is it so? There's got to be reference. There's got to be facts here.
Well, if you go into Discord, ladies and gentlemen, Discord push, there is a link to
the picture.
The picture.
Oh, hold on. I gotta check this out real quick.
It's they don't call him the human tripod for nothing. But imagine that.
Yeah, 15 is kind of wild to really like, and
to travel the world. Well, I mean, regardless, you're in the army, but
yeah, but you're still 15. Enlisted army at 15 is. I'm trying to think of what I was doing at 15, and it definitely wasn't anything.
I was going to a fucking born again Christian fucking church, getting fucking
trying to get pussy,
trying to get a lady, while this lady's like screaming "jabba" in my ear.
Jabba, do it, Jabba the Hutt, Misa. You know what the saddest part about this whole story so far?
The saddest
part.
Okay.
I know that no one ever is going to slip me a business card at the urinal if they peek over and see me using the bathroom.
Dude, I'm hugging that fucking urinal.
Yeah, I'm like, don't look.
Yeah, you're not glimpsing any bit of me.
What's interesting?
But imagine being that confident, just like you're like standing like 3 feet back, just fucking holding like a fire hose. Just
you're shooting it across the bathroom.
Yeah, just like.
And for all the female listeners, the male bathroom's already a very stressful environment, right? It's a very primitive,
right?
You know what I mean? Like monkeys grabbing their food away from the corner and stuff like that.
So when you go into a bathroom, there's unwritten rules that you don't piss next to each other. There's like a 1 urinal gap in between.
Yes. If granted, there are times where you have to.
Well, I mean, if it's busy,
like a sporting event, stuff like that.
And then you're pressed up into like, I mean, I've seen dudes that are just like, ugh, they're fucking like hanging back.
The older generation, I mean, any generation that like was forced to shower with each other in like the 20s and 30s and 40s, they don't give a fuck.
Well, I was forced to shower with guys when I played football.
Well, yeah.
And there was one guy nobody took a shower next to. Yeah, they're like, you stay over there, Dad.
You stay over there.
You stay over there, Moose. You're good.
But I find it interesting too. The Moose. I find it interesting too that so just like today, in the porn industry today, how if you want to make it as a male performer, you have to start. I mean, man on man.
Right.
The same thing back then, where he started in stag films and adult pornography, like posing for photos for men. Yeah. That's just interesting to me. Like, it's the same concept. That it's just video now compared to
still photos and
photos in a DVD or a VCR.
Back then,
what would it be?
Was like beta.
God, it's before my time.
It was like reel to reel. But I see what I kind of think. Like,
the industry hasn't changed. It's the same
thing. Yeah, to get your foot in the door, you got to do certain things and whatever. Now, the thing that cracks me up is that like people who say like their favorite genre of porn is like woman on woman.
Oh yeah, what are you, 12? What are you, 12?
Like there has to be
for a man. I know what you're saying. For a straight male. Lesbian. Right. Listen, we're going to tell you. No, secret time?
Here's a little random AF.
Straight men don't watch lesbian porn.
No.
No.
No. There has to be
there has to almost be like
another gentleman involved.
Yes. Which is crazy to think about. But I mean, it is what it is. Yeah.
But for me, only one gentleman. Only one gentleman. Any more than one?
Oh, you
Yeah.
You can't have. You can't.
I
watch
can't have that many.
Gotcha.
Yeah.
Yeah. You can't have a floating head with.
Right. So anyway. So now this is where fucking everybody gets all fucking into some shady fucking shit. Hence why we're here talking about the Wonderland murders. We'll go a little deeper here in chapter 3. His connections with Chris Cox and Eddie Nash were the beginning of John's major crime problems. John frequently sold drugs for the Wonderland gang. Notable members that John was associated with were Ronnie Lee Launius and David Clay Lind, and their wheelman, Tracy McCourt. John was falling out of favor with the gang because he was using more drugs than selling. In order to get in their good graces, he told the gang of Eddie Nash's stash of drugs, jewelry, and money. Holmes told Launius and Lind about the stash, and he helped set up a home invasion and armed robbery that was committed on June 29, 1981. At Nash's home, Launius and Billy Deverell disguised themselves as police officers. They led fellow gang members David Lynn and Tracy McCourt into the home, where they handcuffed Nash and his bodyguard, Gregory Dials. During the robbery, as Nash was being made to open the safe, Lind accidentally shot and wounded Dials. The pair walked away, unrecognized, with $1.2 million in illegal drugs, cash, jewelry, and arms. The Wonderland gang had just sold Nash the guns just a few days earlier. Holmes was not present during the robbery, but Nash suspected that John was involved. Nash later forced Holmes to confess his involvement in the armed robbery by threatening his life and those of his family. Nash had noted that Holmes had been to his house 3 separate times on the morning of the robbery, presumably to make sure the patio door was unlocked. Nash then dispatched men, accompanied by Holmes, to exact revenge against the Wonderland gang. On the morning of July 1st, 1981, 4 members associated with the Wonderland gang were found murdered, and a 5th was severely beaten in their townhouse. The victims were Billy Deverell, Ronald Launius, Joy Miller, and Barbara Richardson. The 5th surviving victim was Susan Launius, Ronald's estranged wife. She barely survived and had no memory of the event. On the day of the discovery, police received a panic phone call from a pair of furniture movers who were working at the house next door. They had heard desperate, pained moans coming from the drug house. Investigators walked into a horrible scene. Barbara Richardson, David Lynn's girlfriend, was laying on the ground near the couch she had been sleeping on, covered in blood. Joy Miller was found dead in her bed, while Deverell's body was slumped at the foot, leaning against a TV stand. A bloody hammer was tangled in Miller's sheets, and several metal pipes littered the floor. In the neighboring bedroom, Ron Launius was dead, bloodied, and beaten, almost beyond recognition. The most horrifying sight was Launius' wife, Susan. She was found covered in blood on the floor next to the bed that held her dead husband's body, her skull bashed in, but miraculously still alive. The moans that the moving company had heard belonged to her. She had been laying on that floor, with her skull crushed in, for more than 12 hours. The house was leased by Joy Miller. She had fallen in with the gang after separating from her wealthy husband. Joy's boyfriend, William Deverell, was the gang's level-headed second in command. He was later found out to be a reluctant criminal. He regretted his long track record of heroin abuse and arrests. It made it difficult for him to find honest jobs. Ronald Launius, on the other hand, was cold as ice. He was the Wonderland King. He made a name for himself in Vietnam when he was dishonorably discharged from the military, when he was caught smuggling drugs back into the United States inside the bodies of dead servicemen. Launius had already spent time in jail for smuggling, and only narrowly escaped life imprisonment for murder when the prosecutor's star witness was killed in an accident. Holmes was present during the murders, and he left his left palm print over one victim's headboard. It was not proven that he had committed any of the murders or beatings. He was questioned, but then released due to lack of evidence. He also refused to cooperate with the investigation. Holmes went on the run, and after 5 months, he was arrested in Florida on December 4th, 1981, by former LAPD homicide detectives Frank Tomlinson and Tom Lang. John was extradited to Los Angeles, and in March of 1982, was charged with personally committing all 4 murders. But after a 3-week trial, Holmes was acquitted of all charges, except for committing contempt of court on June 26, 1982. The murder trial was a landmark in the history of American trial procedure, as it was the first trial in which videotape was introduced as evidence. Eddie Nash was suspected of murdering the gang as revenge, and he was questioned and eventually arrested. He was charged with planning the murders, but Nash was saved by a hung jury. Just one juror stood between Nash and a guilty verdict. Eddie Nash walked free until the year 2000, when he was charged with drug trafficking and money laundering. As part of a plea deal, he admitted to having bribed a single dissenting juror in the original trial. He also confessed to commanding his men to repossess the stolen items in the Wonderland house on the night of the slayings, though he never admitted to having ordered the murders. Criminal AF will be back after this quick break. What's good, everybody? Nothing says I am one of the debauched like Criminal AF apparel and merchandise. Choose from multiple designs that fit your style and your attitude. For women, for men, around the home, or at the office. You can look great repping Criminal AF wherever you go and help support the podcast as well by visiting criminalafpodcast.com/shop or click on the link in the episode description.
Go get you some merch.
Yes, sir. So now, to kick this off, John Holmes is now interacting in all aspects of the seediness of fucking
debauchery.
Hollywood. Debauchery, yes. You know, like we talked about before, now he's getting involved with the Wonderland gang. He's basically an associate of them, selling drugs for them. And at the same time, he has connections with, you know, like I said, this is late 70s, early 80s. Nightclubs are the fucking hot thing. So now he's trying to keep his relevancy in the fucking nightlife, you know? And this is where he meets Eddie Nash and Chris Cox.
This is like the start of like influencers getting paid by clubs to come in and hold the bottle up in a sign.
Right, yeah. Mm-hmm. Yeah, with the little fucking VIP corner.
Yeah. Come party with
Paris Hilton. Remember that?
Yeah, it was
like Paris.
Jersey Shore, too. Jersey Shore, they made a fucking living off of club appearances and stuff like that.
Back in the day when Kim Kardashian was Paris Hilton's fucking purse holder.
Personal assistant.
With all this stuff now becoming, you know, intertwined, John starts falling out of favor with the Wonderland group, the Wonderland gang.
What a crappy name for a gang.
Well, it's the street they were on. That was the name of the street.
Yeah, but I don't know.
You know?
They're not even a gang.
I know.
Let's be honest.
The fucking Wonderland gang.
I feel like it's like West Side Story out here.
They're
snapping outside fucking West Hollywood.
We have a rumble later on with Sesame Street. Yeah.
Got some gay porn members. What the fuck kind of gang is this? I mean, they are though. They do got a couple bodies now.
Yeah.
So
basically, to keep in their good graces and to maintain his fucking healthy drug appetite, he's like, hey, I know a nightclub promoter who is fucking loaded with money, guns, drugs, jewelry, fucking everything. So let's we say we team up and get this, you know what I mean? And this is almost like a Keystone Cops version of a fucking robbery, you know?
Yeah, I know what you're saying.
They kind of fucking they disguise themselves as police officers, and they walk in there and they're like, "Oh, give us all your fucking whatever, your drugs," and a fucking gun accidentally goes off and it shoots the fucking bodyguard.
Sounds like a bad comedy.
It's like, oh shit, fuck,
no,
my bad, sorry. Yeah, they ended up walking away with fucking over $1 million.
$1.2 million in illegal drugs, cash, jewelry, and arms.
That's
a
nuts.
successful fucking robbery. That's
all right,
sure.
now I'll do the conversion for that. 1.2 million in 1981. So 1.2 million in 1981 is the equivalent to almost 3.4 million today.
That's a take, man.
That is a take.
That is a take.
Even 1.2 million is a take.
Yeah. Successful.
Put it into today's fucking context. So yeah, so I'd be a little pissed.
Yeah, there's definitely going to be some rebuttal to this.
Right. And I think where the connection all comes together is where just prior to this robbery, the Wonderland gang had sold some guns to Nash earlier in the week. And that gun deal came across with the help of John Holmes.
Yeah.
So now, even though Holmes wasn't present during the robbery...
I mean, he knew. Nash knew 100%.
Right.
But, I mean, and the balls to go there the day before 3 times and unlock the back door for these people. Like, like you're not going to be suspect number 1, dude.
Yep.
But, I mean, hey, drugs can cloud that.
What do you say? Cocaine's
a hell of a drug. Charlie Murphy.
Rick James,
famous quote, Rick James. Cocaine's a hell of a drug.
And that, children, was the very first time I sucked a dick for crack.
Fucking iconic.
So now, like, if the web hasn't been confusing thus far, now we're going to go to the morning of July 1st in 1981.
As much as we were making fun of, these Hollywood gangs that we were going on gangs, I mean, they got revenge. They went in there and killed 4 of them. So, they were a little hard.
Yeah, so all the people that were associated with the robbery, not all of them were there the night of the murders. There was a couple that were out. Unfortunately, their girlfriends or significant others or whatever were at the house and were killed. Now imagine this. So you're in a house, you and 4 of your acquaintances or friends or whatever. Everybody is fucking bludgeoned. Now, if you go on the Discord, I have pictures of the head. The head was crushed, like gone.
Yeah, the Wonderland murders. All those crime scene photos are. It's a gruesome scene.
Right. And the next morning, somebody hears someone moaning, like somebody actually survived this bludgeoning. Like even after the attack, like she had no recollection of what happened.
Yeah, of course.
Like she doesn't remember getting beat or what happened in the house, but just being able to survive for that amount of time, for that length of time,
it's
afterwards,
impressive.
It is.
She definitely is a fighter at that point.
Mm-hmm. So one of the keys that put John Holmes in the Wonderland murders is that they found a handprint in the house in someone's blood that they say was John Holmes' house. So now when they came in, they wanted this to be personal. They wanted this attack to be, very hands-on.
Yeah. To
prove a point, send a message. So there was no guns. It was all bludgeoned. Hammers, pipes, everything. Now,
personal.
Right. So we'll wrap this all up in the next chapter where we learn the actual demise of John Holmes. After John was released from Los Angeles County Jail for contempt of court in November of 1982, he quickly resumed his film career with a new generation of porn stars. He still used drugs off and on, and although he was working a lot, it was no longer as lucrative as it had been with the advent of cheaply made videotapes that saturated the porn market. Most of his films that he made in the 80s were little more than just cameo appearances. In February of 1986, Holmes was diagnosed as HIV positive. His second wife, Lori Holmes, claimed John never used hypodermic needles because he was deathly afraid of them. A friend and former colleague, Bill Anderson, also confirmed that Holmes could not have contracted HIV from intravenous drug use because he never used needles. In the summer of 1986, Holmes was offered a deal with Paradise Visuals, who were unaware of his positive HIV diagnosis. He had to travel to Italy to film his last 2 porn movies. He filmed The Rise of the Roman Empress and The Devil and Mr. Holmes, These films caused controversy because Holmes had made a conscious decision to not reveal his HIV status to his co-stars before engaging in unprotected sex for the production. It was noticeable that Holmes' health was failing, but he lied and claimed to the press that he was suffering from colon cancer. Holmes married Lori Rose on January 23, 1987 in Las Vegas, Nevada, after confiding to her that he had AIDS. During his last 5 months, he remained in the VA hospital in Los Angeles. On March 13, 1988, at the age of 43, Holmes died from AIDS-related complications. His death certificate stated that he died from cardiorespiratory arrest and encephalitis due to AIDS. His body was cremated and ashes were scattered by his widow Lori and mother Mary in the sea off the coast of Oxnard, California. John Holmes was not the center of these murders, but he played a big part, pun intended. He was the middleman that introduced one world to the other. The drug-dealing gang and the nightclub owner's worlds were brought together by this one man, who happened to be a porn star. It sounds like a perfect mafia movie, but it was true life. Movies were loosely based off of this story. The 1997 movie starring Mark Wahlberg, Burt Reynolds, Julianne Moore, Heather Graham, and John C. Reilly was one movie made from the story of John Holmes and the Wonderland gang. The movie Wonderland was based off of this story and starred Val Kilmer, Kate Bosworth, Dylan McDermott, Carrie Fisher, Lisa Kudrow, and Christina Applegate. The true story of John Holmes and the crimes on Wonderland seem like they've come from a movie because of how outrageous the cast of characters are. But this is real and dirty. Many stories are similar, but this story is boosted because there happened to be a man by the name of John Holmes involved. This story is out of this world and almost unbelievable. There are plenty of pictures online that will prove that this story is real. They are bloody and disturbing. All you have to do is search the Wonderland murders. They are not hard to find. You can get an idea of how horrifying it would have been for police to enter this house, just by the amount of blood that is everywhere. So let this be a lesson. Do not backstab drug dealers or nightclub owners.
No, I think it's a fitting end for Holmes, for all like him getting off so many times that something finally caught up and got him.
Yeah.
He knowingly had HIV and he went and filmed 2 more porn movies and didn't disclose it.
Unprotected. Yeah.
That's a horrible individual.
Mm-hmm.
And that was when AIDS was a death sentence.
Oh yeah.
There was no
Magic
Magic Johnson pill. There was none of that stuff. You would die.
Yeah.
Like.
Yeah, and at that stage, they're like, obviously he's shedding like tons of fucking weight, and he just looks unhealthy, and he's still fucking performing with unprotected, sex.
Well, not only did he have AIDS, he had colon cancer.
Well, no, that's what he told people. People were like, hey, John, you don't look too fucking healthy. We hear rumors that you have HIV. He's like, nah, it's colon cancer. Yeah, don't worry about it. And then he goes on to get fucking married.
I mean, you can definitely say that John Holmes had a life. He definitely, in the short 43 years that he was alive, he went out with a,
yeah.
You could say he lived life to the fullest. You got fucking porn star, coke habit, you killed people, well, allegedly killed people, you got in gang wars, like, Jesus, man.
So have you ever seen Boogie Nights?
No. I've heard stories of it. I heard that was like the Boogie Nights was the risque film of that time. Right.
Yeah, and apparently it's all about the Wonderland gang murders. But here's a little tidbit about the movie. I guess during filming, because Mark Wahlberg, he wears a prosthetic dick.
Yeah.
And I guess at some point during the filming it got stolen or misplaced, or they couldn't find one, right? So luckily there's a sex shop, like a production, porn production place, like whatever.
Of course, it's LA.
Right, that was down the road. So they went there and they were like, hey, we needed a prosthetic. We need a dick.
ASAP.
And they're like, yeah, no problem. So they go into this room and it's just a fucking room filled with fake dicks.
Yeah.
Like just everywhere. And come to find out, like I didn't know this until I heard this story, but like all the penises that you see in those movies
Are fake.
Like, how many of them are fake? Like, they're not really.
Most penis, even tits. They even do fake tits. As long as it's, a focus shot. If it's a close up of like an actress, they'll use, like, she really does go topless. But if there's like a whole bunch of boobs and ass and dicks in the background of a shot, they use fake prosthetics. Yeah. So, like, there's set rooms. There'll be prop rooms full of fake dicks in like a raunchy movie.
Interesting. Also, like with Boogie Nights and the other movie with Wonderland, they kind of glorify that time. They kind of glorify, the seediness of that era and the actions that were going on. But I encourage everyone, if you are a Patreon member, go to our Discord and go to crime scene photos and videos.
If you like gory stuff.
Well, here's my thing with gory stuff. Like, we can tell you about murders. We can tell you, oh, this guy was bludgeoned 7 times. But what does bludgeoned look like?
Yeah, you definitely have to check it out.
What, like, oh, this person was stabbed 57 times. What does being stabbed 57 times look like? You know what I mean? Like, that's I have a curiosity with that.
Yeah.
So on our Discord, we have that. Also, if you're not on a Discord, you can definitely search somewhere on Google. They have videos of the crime scene from the Wonderland murders. I encourage everyone, if you're listening to this, to go find that and watch it, because this is not glorified. This is pure fucking evil.
Yeah, it's retaliation.
You know what I mean? So, like, yeah, we can talk about it. We can laugh. John Holmes. His dick. All this other kind of stuff. But when you really get down to the knit and grit,
it was still a horrific murder.
It's fucking awful.
In this story, yeah.
Right. Yeah.
I love the way your sister ended the story in this with a lesson to do. Let this be a lesson to not do business with gangs or nightclub owners.
Yeah, stay the fuck away.
Oh, that's funny.
Because you never know. You get wrapped up in the wrong shit. All right, so that'll wrap it up for Johnny Watt in Wonderland. Before we go, if you like what you heard, go to Apple Podcasts, Spotify, or wherever you listen to podcasts and leave us a review. And don't forget, you can become one of the debauched by joining our Patreon for as little as $2 a month for general support. Everyone gets access to our Discord channel, and those who join the $5 tier or above get all of our Audible video and downloadable content, including the narrated scripts for each and every story from Criminal AF. You also get 5-Minute Murder, our Patreon-only Not Safe for Work bi-weekly podcast, Random AF, plus our monthly Patreon-only episodes of Dreadful AF, where Garrett and I join John and Joe from Spread the Dread podcast and discuss all things true crime, paranormal, supernatural, conspiracy theories, and everything in between. It's going to be crazy. It's going to be fun. Join and check that out. Now, for the higher tiers, you get all of this plus producer credits on every episode, some goodies thrown in, t-shirts, posters, coffee mugs, etc. Now, if you only want to do a one-time contribution, you can become a barista and buy us one or more coffees through buymeacoffee.com. And for all of this, just go to criminalafpodcast.com/support to choose your tier on Patreon or make a one-time donation. Links to all of our support socials, merchandise, get your merch, and
get you some merch.
Yes, sir. All of that can be found in the episode description, or you can visit, once again, criminalafpodcast.com for all of your criminal AF needs.
Signing off from Studio Chloroform. Keep your head on a swivel.
And take care till next time.
Now give me our theme music. See ya.
Executive producers for this episode are Christine Rivera, Beth Davis, and Dusty Jay Hicks. Associate producers are Paul Hodge, Noah Schultz, Brooke Morgan, Shantal Cieslak, Jay Rawlings, Terri Burke Wolin, and Bethany Cooper. Producers are Devin Dean, Trent Gobble, JD, Jan O'Donnell, Jessica Lloyd, Lissa Perello, Jenny Crawford, Alicia Knight, Laura Shin, Chris Owen, Maria Celine, Beth Esselman, and Aussie Tracy. This story was researched and written by Dorothy Jari, edited and narrated by Dave Jari. For a narrative-only version of this episode, visit Criminal AF Direct, available wherever you listen to podcasts.